Aarav and Dev were more than just friends, they were two halves of the same soul. Growing up in the quaint hill town of Pakmari, their lives were intertwined like the branches of the ancient banyan tree that shaded their favorite spot, a weathered wooden bench in the town square. This bench, etched with their childhood dreams and secrets, became their sanctuary, a silent witness to their burgeoning friendship. They raced paper boats in the park's pond on lazy afternoons, shared stolen mangoes under the banyan tree's shade, and whispered secrets on that bench as the sun dipped below the horizon. Their bond deepened with each passing season. They carved their initials into the bench's armrest, a permanent reminder of their enduring connection. The bench held their laughter and their tears, their shared victories and their comforting silences. It was on this very bench that they made a pact, a solemn vow, to meet every Sunday, no matter what life threw their way. Sunday mornings became sacred. They would arrive at the bench, their weekly ritual a testament to their unwavering friendship. Aarav, with his nose perpetually stuck in a book, would share his latest literary adventures, while Dev, the adventurer of the two, would recount his escapades in the surrounding hills. Time seemed to stand still on those Sunday mornings, the world outside their bench fading into insignificance. As the years tumbled by, their paths began to diverge. Aarav, a bright and ambitious student, excelled in his studies, his sights set on a prestigious college far away. Dev, grounded and loyal, chose to stay in Pakmari, finding solace in the familiar rhythm of their small town. The bench, however, remained their constant, the anchor of their friendship amidst the changing tides of their lives. Sundays at the bench were more than just a meeting time for Aarav and Dev, they were a sacred ritual. As the church bells chimed across the valley, signaling the start of another Sunday, the two boys would converge on their bench, their hearts light with anticipation. It was a time for sharing, for laughter, for confidences whispered and dreams confessed. Aarav, his mind always buzzing with new ideas, would often bring his textbooks, explaining complex equations to Dev with an enthusiasm that belied their intricacy. Dev, a patient listener, would absorb Aarav's words, his eyes shining with admiration. He may not have understood all the technicalities, but he understood the passion that fueled his friend's dreams. Their Sundays weren't always about serious discussions. Sometimes they would spend hours simply watching the townsfolk go by, spinning tales about the characters they encountered. Other times they would lose themselves in games of chess, the old worn board perched precariously on their knees. No matter the activity, the bench was their haven, a place where they could be themselves, free from judgment and pretense. As the sun began its descent, casting long shadows across the town square, a comfortable silence would often fall between them. It was a silence born not of awkwardness, but of a deep, unspoken understanding. They had witnessed each other's triumphs and failures, their hopes and their fears. They were more than just friends, they were brothers in every sense, but blood. The news of Aarav's acceptance into the prestigious university in Delhi settled over their friendship like a bittersweet fog. While ecstatic for his friend's achievement, Dev couldn't shake off the melancholy that clung to him like a shadow. The impending distance stretched before them, a vast chasm threatening to swallow their shared future. One Sunday, with a heavy heart, Aarav broke the news to Dev. As he spoke, the words felt foreign and heavy on his tongue. Dev listened, his usual cheerfulness replaced with a stoic silence. When Aarav finished, a deafening quiet settled between them, broken only by the distant chirping of birds. The bench, once a symbol of their unbreakable bond, suddenly felt small and insignificant in the face of their impending separation. As the sun began its final descent, casting long, mournful shadows across the town square, they made a promise. They vowed to stay in touch, to write letters, to visit when they could. It was a promise made with the best of intentions, but deep down, they both knew that nothing could truly bridge the gap that was about to separate them. That night, Neither of them slept. Aarav packed his bags, each item a painful reminder of the life he was leaving behind. Dev lay awake in his bed, staring at the ceiling, the weight of their impending separation pressing down on him like a physical burden. The day Aarav left for Delhi dawned bright and clear, the sky a painful reminder of the life he was leaving behind. As the bus pulled away from the town square, Aarav stole one last glance at his beloved bench, his heart heavy with a mixture of excitement and dread. He had promised Dev he would write, and he intended to keep his word, but a part of him knew that things would never be the same. True to his word, Dev continued their Sunday ritual. Every week, without fail, he would walk to the town square and sit on their bench, his heart aching with a profound sense of loss. He would spend hours lost in thought, replaying memories of their shared past, his fingers tracing the worn grooves of their initials carved into the armrest. The townsfolk, accustomed to seeing the two boys together, would often cast sympathetic glances in Dev's direction. Some would stop and exchange a few words, inquiring about Aarav's well-being. But Dev mostly kept to himself, finding solace in the silent companionship of the empty bench. Weeks turned into months, and months into years. Aarav's letters, filled with tales of his new life in the city, arrived sporadically at first, then dwindled to a trickle. Dev, though his heart ached with each missed letter, never wavered in his loyalty. He continued his weekly pilgrimage to the bench, his steadfast presence a testament to the enduring power of their friendship. Years passed, each one etching new lines on Dev's face and adding a touch of grey to his hair. Aarav, now a successful professional in the bustling city, found himself drawn back to Pakmari, a yearning for his roots tugging at his heartstrings. He returned to find the town relatively unchanged, the banyan tree casting its familiar shade over the town square. As he approached the bench, his heart pounded in his chest. Memories flooded his mind, shared laughter, whispered secrets, and the unshakable bond he had once shared with his dearest friend. There, sitting on the bench, his back slightly stooped, was Dev. Time may have weathered his features, but the warmth in his eyes, the twinkle that Aarav knew so well, remained unchanged. Their reunion was a bittersweet symphony of joy and regret. They embraced, the years melting away as they fell back into the familiar rhythm of their friendship. Aarav learned of Dev's unwavering loyalty, his weekly visits to their bench a testament to the enduring power of their bond. Guilt washed over Aarav as he realized the extent of his neglect, the missed opportunities to nurture their friendship. The once sturdy bench, battered by years of sun and rain, now mirrored their own weathered souls. They decided to rebuild it together, plank by plank, a symbol of their renewed commitment to each other. They worked side by side, their laughter echoing through the town square just like old times. Time, as it always does, marched on relentlessly. Aarav found himself a regular visitor to Pakmari, his career taking a back seat to the precious time he spent with Dev. The rebuilt bench became their sanctuary once more, a place where they could reminisce about the past and save for the present. One crisp autumn morning, Aarav arrived at the bench to find it empty. A sense of foreboding washed over him. He learned that Dev, his health failing, had passed away peacefully in his sleep. The news struck him with the force of a physical blow, leaving him reeling in its wake. As Aarav sat on the bench, now smooth and polished from years of use, he was flooded with a mix of grief and gratitude. Grief for the loss of his dearest friend, the empty space beside him, a constant reminder of his absence. Gratitude for the gift of Dev's friendship, a bond that had weathered the storms of time and distance. In the end, it was the bench that remained, a silent sentinel to their timeless bond. Aarav continued to visit, finding solace in the memories etched into its grain. He would often imagine Dev sitting beside him, their laughter echoing through the years, a testament to a friendship that even death couldn't diminish.